bene così.
Ci sta. No, era il fatto che
non si vede. Ok, mi lasci la tra 6 minuti circa o poco più io e Alberto saremo live con Pedro Demetriou, autore del set Artistry del Topps Deco di Topps, su Twitch per un'intervista esclusiva. Vi lasciamo il link, andate a vederci, ci vediamo lì. In che senso? Questo come se fosse un po'
Sì,
sulla spalla. Non vorrei che fosse sgranato e poi probabilmente non prende abbastanza banda. Vabbè, tu sei Okay, we are live, maybe. Not yet. Oops. Oh no. Disaster, ovviamente. This happens a lot of time. Cavolo. Sorry, Pedro, there are some technical issues. I don't know why.
That's okay.
Okay, here we are. We are live now, for real. Hello, Pedro. Welcome to our podcast. We are very happy to have you
Hello,
here.
thank you for having me.
Thank you. Come closer, Alberto. So, Pedro, it's an honor for us to have you here. And we are as we told you, we are the first Italian community to talk with a Topps designer. And so this will be a short interview in English, of course, about you, about your work at Topps and your latest set, the Artistry one. And for the Italian people that follow us, we'll translate some parts of our interview in Italian. And so, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And hello to the Italian community.
Nice. As we told you, people in Italy are going crazy for the Artistry set. There are a lot of people that are chasing those cards more than auto, and this is and we are very happy about this because this means that people are really getting interested about art card, illustrated card. So.
Yeah.
Let's start, Pedro. We would like to know a little more about you, about your life, your work, and how did you end up working with Topps?
Yeah. Well, I am born and bred in the UK. I lived in London and then moved up to a little town just about an hour outside of London. It's quite quiet near the countryside. I studied graphic design and illustration at university, but I've been drawing like so many of us pretty much for as long as I could hold a pencil or a pen. Normally it was drawing either video game characters or invariably Spider-Man for me. Comic books were like a huge influence. So that's something that I've always done in my life, and then studied professionally. And then since I graduated in 2013, and since then just been working in the design industry, just working a variety of different in-house design jobs. But I've always done my illustration on a freelance basis, and I also run my own business where I create work and sell it in the form of posters. So it's always been good to have both when it comes to design and illustration. They're so intrinsically linked. So it's culminated in me moving to Topps last year. And to have the opportunity to combine both design and illustration for me has been incredible, and it's amazing to see that people are enjoying that as well. From a collector's point of view, it's fantastic.
Oh, nice. So you are a collector too, not only a designer.
Yes, that's right. I mean, over here in the UK, I'm sure it's similar, across Europe. But when Pokemon first came out, that was like the first thing I can remember, like seriously collecting. Obviously, I always loved collecting different things. We used to have these little things called Pogs. They were like small little circular discs. I think they were made of plastic, and you would stack them up, and they had different designs on them. So some had Star Wars, some had like cartoons on them. But when Pokemon first, hit the playgrounds, essentially, everyone went crazy. So everyone had like huge decks and binders full, and
they still have
from being a child and collecting. That sort of stuff that hasn't really, I think with so many of us hasn't left us. There's a childlike quality to us wanting to collect beautiful things. Essentially, it's little pieces of art, aren't they? Little trading cards, and collecting from back in the day. And I find that now that I'm kind of working within the industry on the other side of things, that the side of you as being a collector, I think really enhances the work that you do, because you're seeing it from the customer's point of view as well. You want to create something that you would want to own as well. For me, every card should be something that's worthy of displaying, regardless of the player or the subset, the design, whatever it is. It should be as good as it could possibly be. So if someone was to receive it, pull it in a pack, or even was to buy it, it should be something that they'd want to display. That, for me, that's how I go about treating every design, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, because one of the best feeling of collecting is just that you can see your album, your cards, and probably there is also a sentimental link to every card you have, because every card has a story. And I take the chance to ask you, what do you think about the relation between physical cards and collecting physical and the digital collection that is growing in popularity?
It's I think when it comes to digital collections and with NFTs and stuff, even though it feels like it's been around for quite some time, it still feels like it's still in its infancy. It's yet to come completely into the mainstream where everyone, I think, is comfortable with that sort of collecting. For me personally, and this is just a personal preference, maybe because this is what I've only ever been loved, having something in hand, something physical that I could pick up and look at and bring my eye close to it. And I've always enjoyed the physical aspect of collecting, but I completely respect that that's based off of the experience that I've had, growing up collecting those sorts of things. But I think digital collections, and what's interesting is that there seems to be a way of going about creating digital collections that can also then translate into physical ones as well. I've seen people, when they're selling NFTs of, it might be personal work. If for example you were to purchase an NFT, along with that you would then receive something physical as well as your something, your digital asset. You will also then receive maybe a physical print of that work. Maybe it's signed. So there's still that link there. But I guess it's down to complete personal preference as well. Yeah, I know people come from the side of wanting to collect things from an investment and purely financial point of view. But I think if you genuinely just enjoy the art, I think there will always be a part of us that enjoys the physical aspect as well.
I personally agree. That's why I don't use ebook. I just read the real book because of the feeling you can have. And for cards, it's the same. A lot of digital, there's Topps now that you now can print on demand. There's a lot of stuff going on online with NFT, but the feelings are having your deck in hand and not like scrolling it like a photo library is unbeatable.
Yeah. So how did you end up working with Topps?
It's a completely...
Yeah. Just finish. No worry.
No, sorry. I was just going to say that I think when it comes to the physical aspect of a collection, there's something there that can't be replicated when it comes to a digital asset, and likewise there may well be parts of digital collecting that maybe you can't get when it comes to physical. But I think there's something in us that when you have something in hand, and if we look at, for example, opening up a packet of cards or opening up a box of cards, there's a thrill there, that is different to clicking a button. The everything that goes into the physicality of ripping a pack and
there is another kind of excitement
and feeling it in your hand. It's for me, that I love the link between, because we create something and it's on screen, but then eventually is then printed and it's then you have it in hand, and that then makes it's into the world as something a bit different than what we've just created on screen. But I completely respect that there's there's space for both. But yeah, it's a personal thing for me. I love the physical
Definitely.
nature of and tactile nature of collecting, physical products.
And
Yeah.
even if people say, collectors says they hate sorting, one of the best part of the hobby is just go through your card and sort them in a specific order in the order
Yeah,
you prefer. Yeah, sure,
exactly,
sure.
exactly. But
So
collecting is a personal thing, isn't it?
definitely every
Yeah.
person lives in a different way. We totally agree with you. So moving on, how did you end up working with Topps?
It's not like an exciting story, to be honest. I was looking for um work that was I was in a previous design role, and I think with the Nate, sometimes you find yourself in a position where a change is needed, and I felt that I needed that change. Um, so yeah, looking for new opportunities for me, it was only ever a dream to be able, I, to work for a company like Topps. Being so familiar with the product from being a child and collecting things,
Yeah.
and always seeing the famous Topps logo on there.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that aspect of the prestige of working for a company that you've loved, collecting the product. But for me, the other side of things is having the chance to be able to work, um, to create work on a daily basis, that is much more closely linked to what my personal interests are, sports, and other, the entertainment brands that we have. For me, that was an amazing opportunity, because I've never been able to do that in my life. I've never been able to, it's only stuff that I've done in my own time and my freelance work and personal work to do sports design, and create, I think we've all done it as kids. You create your own trading cards and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Oh
to
yes.
have the chance now to be able to professionally do that, and at a time where the community is thriving so much, and I think the demand has been as big as it's ever been for the product. For me, it's a really exciting time to kind of hop on board, and I feel like I've learned so much, because I casually liked trading cards, but it kind of stick to specifically the sort of stuff that I've only ever known. And so I didn't realize, it was only until I joined, how thriving the community was, and um, how passionate people are about the products. It's been amazing to like engross myself into, and yeah, fallen like in love with it all, to be honest. So yeah, when the opportunity arose, I could never turn it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
The collectors community has been growing a lot. We met a lot of people. We talk with a lot of people, and we couldn't agree more. But the hobby, in various different hobby, from a sports card to playing cards, is thriving now more than
Mm,
ever. And we are
absolutely.
glad to be part of it. And so we fully understand your position, which is even more into the hobby. How great could it feel?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's genuinely, it's a privilege, and I feel a sense of responsibility as well. Because there are a lot of people that want to buy the cards that we make, and so for me, it's important that we continue to give people what they want in terms of a quality. The thing for us is when you know recently gold has reached people, and if when people are opening up packets and opening up their boxes, that they're happy with how they look, how they feel, and that's the most important thing, really, that people spend money, and that they get something that they love and appreciate at the end of it.
Yeah, I think that one of the main differences between Topps and Panini is about the how they innovate the kind of set. I mean, Panini always
Mm.
has some standard set like Donruss, like Prism, and so over the years, the sets are looking more or less the same. Besides Topps is getting a
Yeah.
little bit more creative and always propose something new. So one of the
Yeah.
okay, a lot of people, they are giving us feedback during how on the quality, so sometimes I check that. So I take the chance to ask you how a concept of a set is born in Topps.
So I think it varies depending on what the set is. Often it's driven by, can we find something that we've not done before? Is there, if someone has to be honest, it's quite open. If someone has an idea and it's workable and we think that people would be interested in that, um, we would kind of go for it. Often it's kind of collaborative within the team as well. If we use Deco as an example, that was almost led by the look and feel of the cards, and we then kind of landed on maybe we should roll with this Art Deco styling, and then with that kind of decision, we then decide, right, let's go all in and research Art Deco, traditional posters and all these different things that may well influence the look and feel of a set. And I think the important thing generally is if it's got to feel cohesive, so if you're calling something Deco, it should feel that. So if when you look at the set, it has a vintage feel to it, 1920s, 30s, and I think that came across. But yeah, generally it's quite collaborative. um it's led by a variety of different things. There's not just it's not just like one set way of us, sitting down and deciding, right, we're going to do
Nice.
this. It's
So
often
e-
it's quite an organic way.
everyone is like engaged in the creative process, right? So if
Yeah.
you have the great idea, you maybe gonna have like that printed on the set, and it all began from your idea, right? There's not a
Yeah.
team that decide, a team that design, a team that colors, a team that prints. Everyone's collaborating with each other, and nice, really, really
Yeah.
nice to know.
Yeah, so obviously Topps is a massive company, and there are a variety of different teams. But for us specifically in the e-commerce team, anything that we sell online, um, we're quite, a tight knit group, and we all have the freedom to put forward ideas and suggestions and designs and stuff. Uh, it's never shut off. Everything's, people are always welcome to put forward things, which is fantastic because everyone's coming at things from a different perspective, so that always helps to keep things fresh. And it's never just single-minded, or it's the same sort of thing all the time. I think variety is the best thing. And also, when we think of ourselves as collectors as well, you don't want to buy the same thing every year. You want it to evolve and develop, and I think it keeps people engaged. It keeps us engaged, creating the work. You never want to be doing the same thing over and over again. So it's yeah, it's definitely a collaborative effort.
Yeah. And what about the artistry subset that people are loving? Was it your idea, or they propose you to design something a little bit more illustrated than photographic cards? Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, when I joined Topps, obviously I'm joining as a designer, but I made it quite clear that I'm also an illustrator. I do illustration work, but never, with the expectancy of doing that type of work, because you see the type of product that we do. I'm more than happy doing that, but I always felt that we could do illustration cards as long, obviously you have to have approval from clubs and UEFA, and you know from that side of things. But I was always confident if um, we could get approval side out the way. I'm me as a fan. I grew up collecting illustrated cards. When we look at Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards, it's exactly what they are. They're illustrations. And so I was always convinced that people there would be an appetite for that. But I think it's got to the set has to warrant the illustration. You can't just put the illustrations in everything, and I think it kind of devalues when they are included. But also with the Art Deco set, I think there was an opportunity there to try some things. And so for me, it was a fantastic opportunity to kind of go away and just come up with some ideas of using old, vintage posters as reference, and to get inspiration from. And it was really fun putting those together, because when you look at all six cars look very different. And they feel different, and for me, it's lovely to see that people want to collect the set. There's only 6 of them, but I think that we put them together in such a way that you should want to display all of them. And that's, for me, that's the greatest possible thing. Like, it's to see people have, like,
we've seen from our group,
which is amazing. It's lovely.
Oh, sorry for the delay and interrupting. You go.
No, sorry. It's there is a bit of a delay. Just having people wanting to collect the cards is, for me, is amazing, because you're so focused on just creating the work and making sure it's as good as it can possibly be. Sometimes it's easy to forget that people will, like, chase those cards or want those specific cards. It's amazing to see, to be honest.
Yeah. And did you have freedom to choose the players of the Artistry cards, or someone depending on the clubs?
Generally, yes. To be honest, and this will kind of maybe lead on to when talking about sets in general, you just do the best players, really. Now, obviously, there's that's up for argument, who's the best players. And I think also when it comes to the illustration cards, kind of thinking which design will fit the player, and they kind of have to match. So where we look at the Ronaldo card, for me, that's a very dramatic card, and it matches the personality and the style of the player. But equally, sometimes when looking at photographs of players in kit, it's sometimes just a particular pose. Where we look at the Manchester United, when they had I think they were launching their new home kit, and it's very much a stripped back kit. It's almost retro, so that kind of feeds into the style as well. So when we look at the Rashford one, I like to think that could easily be one that was the style of photograph as well that it's based on, and the way in which we've treated the card. It could easily be something from the 70s,
Yeah.
But generally, we try to go for the biggest, the best players, because ultimately, if you pull the card, you want it to be like, wow, it's not only is it a different looking card, but it's a Ronaldo, it's a Messi, it's an Mbappe. So for me, the two kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, we see, definitely. And I have one question about your style, your illustration style. I would like to know what influenced you. And there is a little a question in the question. Watching your Instagram profile, we can notice that you love to make characters, design characters in profile. No? And
yeah,
that's why. And why did you choose to design Alan in that way?
Okay. First, what was the first question?
What influenced your style? Yeah, the illustration style.
To be honest, it's something that developed quite organically, and I feel I've always felt very thankful, even though ultimately it comes from the work it's happened over the years. But I've never thought I want to create this style of work, or this is my set style. When we were studying, that's one of the things that they were quite keen to to get out of us straight away, because you arrive thinking, this is the sort of illustrator I am. And their job at university was literally just to strip it all away, basically bring you back down to nothing, and then build you up again, to get rid of any bad habits. So just through drawing, non-stop, I found myself onto a type of image making that for me I loved, which was lino cutting and wood cutting
Mm-hmm.
prints. So printmaking, essentially, you carve into a block, either wood or lino, like a plastic. You then roller some ink over it and then print it onto a piece of paper. It's quite simple. It's a very, very old method of creating images. But the second I started to do that, I kind of fell in love with it, because all of a sudden, each time you print it, it's very different. You bring in textures, there's imperfections. You can't undo it. When you cut away from something, that's it, it's done. And I quite liked it, the kind of all or nothing nature of it.
Okay.
So that type of work, that's kind of how I created my images for many, many years. That then, it wasn't the most efficient way of working, and especially if you're working to tight deadlines. So I slowly but surely kind of moved that into recreating the like texture and line work that I was achieving in that form of image making, and making that more digital. So creating custom brush sets on Procreate, that's where I work on now. So for me, it when I look at it, it easily could be something that maybe is printed, using Lino Cut, especially line work and stuff like that. And I think that over the years, doing that sort of thing has just influenced my work. So where you look at it, it's very textured. There's a lot of grunge in there, and so that's the way in which I love creating images. With regards to the side profiles, I don't know how that started. I can't remember when I started doing that, but I love, when drawing somebody, I love that. For me, you can capture so much character and the shape of a face, in that quite dramatic side-on profile. And when I don't remember when I started doing it, but once I did, I didn't really stop. So I created many series. I did like Spider-Man, Joker, Batman. I did loads of sports people, and I just really enjoyed, kind of getting someone's character into just a simple side profile. Also, like, what kind of expression do they have? All these things go into capturing someone's essence into just one image. And yeah, I don't know why, but I've become obsessed with side profiles. So when it came to the Harlan card, I don't know why I chose to do it in that style. Maybe I felt that it would work best, because I've done some like personal work where I've drawn Harlan face on, and it's okay. But I think when I was thinking of, right, I need to get something down, normally that's the thing I fall back onto. I'll do a side profile, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. But I think that's actually one of the few artistry cards that I didn't have an exact clear idea of what it was going to look like in the end. The others kind of planned it out, what the design was going to be, and then it was just a case of creating it. But the Harlan one was kind of built just from the portrait. I think that was the first one I actually did, kind of built it from the side portrait, and then there were so many versions of it. Eventually we reached the one that it currently is, and it's probably my favorite one, to be honest.
Okay, this will be the next question. Glad you answered. And what cards do you think is the most loved by collectors of your artistry card?
I think this is just completely from what I've seen in general. I think people seem to really like the Mbappe one, which is good. I mean, I like them all. I'm wondering if it's maybe composition, maybe the color. It's difficult to say why people like particular things. It would be interesting to survey, but there's clearly something there. If and also the Haaland one as well. I think I've seen quite a few people enjoy that one, which is which is always good. When if you have a personal favorite and other people like that, then that's not always the case, but it's good in this case.
Yeah, we really hope to see a Serie A player in Artistry set, but maybe next time.
It would be amazing. Yeah. Well, you never know. It would be fantastic, especially for me. I'm always in love with retro styling and especially like legend players, and we look at Serie A as it's got incredible history. And you look at some of the legendary players to have come out of the league over the years. So yeah, if one day in the future we can do something like that, it would be amazing.
Yeah,
be
maybe
fantastic.
a mix with the country of origin, or some monument from the country of origin, because we have plenty in Italy. That would be great.
Yeah, we have one question. Okay, it's in Italian, but I translated for you. Hello, everyone. Sure. Why did you decided to design those specific players for the Artistry subset? He said probably the best player.
I'll translate for Robbie, who asked, because we got the answer. Just briefly, and la risposta è che ha scelto lui, e di base si scelgono i giocatori migliori, che vanno a braccetto con il collezionismo, sono quelli più ricercati e comunque quelli che piacevano a lui tra i migliori. Poi c'è sempre la discussione qual è il migliore, ma pazienza, diciamo che l'ha fatto molto bene.
Esatto.
That's it. I just tried to
a little bit of translation in Italian.
Yes.
Amazing.
Did you get all the cards approved on the first shot, or there are some cards that you had to redesign?
I think we did. If I remember correctly, I think maybe there was only one small change, because when you're working with clubs, and especially when it comes to illustration, it's not just with illustration, with photos as well, but to make sure that logos are correct on shirts. Yeah, for one of the biggest things is sleeve sponsors.
Yeah.
And nowadays clubs change sleeve sponsor depending on the competition as well. So if there's a Champions League match, make sure that this particular sponsor is showing. So I think the only change was to add, I think on the PSG kits they have a particular sponsor on the sleeve. So I think that was the only change, was to just add that in, which is something so small, but it's of course it's important. But for me, that was always the biggest worry. I can be happy with the work, my team could be happy with the work, but ultimately it goes to a club and they have to approve it. And some clubs can be, more fussy than others, and it's all about making sure the likeness is correct. So for me, I was just relieved that because you're never quite sure.
Yeah.
Because ultimately they're still stylized. They're not photorealistic. So yeah, I was just really pleased that they kind of went through without anything major having to be changed.
Did the players show your cards?
You know what? It's a good question, because we're not sure. Even when we do all of these different card sets, we're never quite sure if the players or teams and stuff, it reaches the footballers.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I think in the US, I think trading cards and sport, so where we look at baseball, the culture, the cards and the sport are so closely linked. So it's not an unusual thing to see players sharing their cards or posing with them. It's a big deal to have your own trading card. I'm not sure that we're quite there yet. Over here in Europe, when it comes to football and trading cards, I think there's still a bit of a gap there. Because it would be amazing. Could you imagine if you have, a footballer, excited? Because I think they would be excited. I'm just not sure they would know about it. If especially when you have, youngsters breaking onto the scene and they have their first trading card and stuff like that. That I would imagine they would be excited about it. But I'm not sure it's quite there in the mainstream yet that they're even aware of it. But yeah, could you imagine? It'd be amazing if I'm there seeing Messi posing with his Artistry card. Something
or just hitting you a DM on Instagram.
Great work.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Thanks, Leo. Like friends. I think it's gonna come eventually, because players will see them posing with their FIFA stats, and that's a video game, though. We know it's famous, it's global, and they know they are in that. So I think it's a matter of time until they know, like they know they are on some specific cards, because they autograph them and they put memorabilia on it and stuff. But when something like this, which is really close related to art, so it's just not a picture of them, comes out, eventually I think they'll know, they'll catch up on this.
I agree, and I think that's something that is I would love for us to be able to achieve, because FIFA is a great example that I would say that is now breaking itself into the culture of football. And like you said, players are there, they want to, they're comparing their stats with other players, and that element of things, of bringing the real life game of football with the video game has been achieved. So I like to believe that with the work that we're doing and the thriving community of collectors, it's growing. It would be amazing for us to get closer to that. It would be fantastic.
Yeah. So how was to meet Alfonso Davies? We saw in your profile that you had the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah, it was amazing, to be honest. Obviously never done anything like that in my life, to have that sort of opportunity. Because obviously we knew how we had a curated set that we were going to be working on, and that's often the case. You would go and meet the player and get them to talk about what would they like in the set. At the end of the day, it's theirs, so it should have their input. But for me to be able to have design the cards, and then to then be out there talking to him about it, and talking about the designs that we've done and what else he would like to have in there. And it was an amazing conversation that we had as well. He was fantastic. It was very open and generous with giving us like insights about players he's played against. Honestly, it was a fantastic experience, and probably for me one of the highlights of the year, because that's from a football fan's point of view, it's to go and meet professionals. It's literally a dream come true. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, we see. Just some final question before closing our interview. One not related to the hobby, but we are curious to know.
I do have one.
Okay,
Given the great feedback the community has given on the set, especially on the Deco and especially on the Artistry's card, you'll see, or even maybe you're already working on something similar with illustrated cards in a different set coming in the future?
For me, that would be amazing, and I think that what we've shown with Deco is that there is an appetite there because it's until you do it, until you release the product, you're never quite sure how they'll go down, because people are used to a particular type of product. So to see people really embracing the illustration cards has been amazing. So I think it's all about the opportunity, like where could we fit that into future sets. So yeah, I think it's just about waiting for the right opportunity to do it, because you never want to overdo something, and it's got to be done the right way for people to still want to collect it. But yeah, for me it would be amazing to do some more illustrated cards, and give people something a bit different in their personal collections.
Yeah, and we hope in the future to see illustrated card, signed illustrated card that would be like a sign for a painter. It would be even more artistic and a piece of art, definitely even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if my signature's worth anything.
Why not? Why not? Because I checked your profile a lot when we start talking, and I saw that you grow a lot in popularity on Instagram. I know that there are just numbers, but a lot of people started follow your work. So probably why not?
You never know. In the age of collecting, I guess anything is collectible nowadays.
Yes, maybe in the future a card with the designer and the player and a double sign on it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Just two more questions, and then we are done. Not related to the hobby, but we are curious to know what team do you support. What's your favorite team and your favorite player in general?
Okay. So I support Arsenal.
Okay.
I my my dad grew up like around the corner from the Highbury back in the day. So yeah, even before we were born, he signed us up for Arsenal memberships, and we were lucky enough to go to Highbury to watch incredible players, Omri, Bergkamp, Pires, and to be able to watch us lift trophies was amazing, because you don't realize it when you're a child, but uh, there's no given that will last forever. So as we've kind of as we've figured out in recent years, so yeah, I've always supported Arsenal. Favorite player, currently it's difficult. It's not like it used to be. If I had to pick one, I do love Martinelli. Smith Rowe as well, to be honest. I think it's always special when you have youngsters who have come through the team, and they've grown up as part of the club, and then they go on to play. I think that's always a dream for any footballer. The team you support, you then go on to play for them. So yeah, maybe Smith Rowe, but it's not like it used to be with incredible legends.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that England will win the World Cup?
I don't think so. I don't think so. They came so close in the Euros.
So sorry about this.
To be completely honest, when you look at, you don't need to apologize. Yeah, if Cyprus were in the Euros, I would be supporting Cyprus, but unfortunately they've never qualified for a competition, so England have always been kind of second to that. But if you were to if we look at the Euros, comparing the two teams, it's difficult to argue with Italy winning it, because ultimately, apart from the final, they played the best football, the most attractive football, free scoring goals. For me, it's the first time in my life watching Italy in a major competition, and enjoying watching the positive football. It was really attacking. Every match was exciting, and so you can't begrudge that. You can't argue with them winning. It's just a shame for us over here. There was the atmosphere was building in terms of everyone was getting excited, but it wasn't to be. I'm just not sure a World Cup is so many fantastic teams. It's always the case in a competition, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know. No, I don't think anyone would have predicted Italy to. I was going to say no one would have predicted Italy to have gone on to win the Euros. So you never know.
See, Italy had the best year for sports ever. Like for Euros with the Olympics, we won a European Championship in different sports. We qualified for basketball at the Olympics since I think it was 12 or 16 years. So
a lucky year.
That was the year for Italy.
Yeah.
And now we might not go to the World Cup.
Maybe.
Because,
but we
it's
don't
crazy.
know.
Honestly, that would be unbelievable.
And that's just
hopefully
that
won't
gap.
Be the case.
1 year gap, 2 years.
1 year. Yeah.
1 year gap.
1 year gap. Yeah. Last question before closing. A long shot one, but I would like to know your think about it. What do you think will be the future of the hobby and collecting?
Do not know, to be honest. The short answer, I do not know. It's just been increasing and growing, and so I think it's difficult to really think how it will change. It's, I think the more people that are getting involved with, the community of trading cards and are becoming more aware of it, I guess the natural evolution, which we've said already, is for it to start seeping into our mainstream culture, would be amazing. I'd like to think that may be the long-term future. But specific, the hobby and stuff, who knows? As long as people are enjoying buying product and companies like Topps are continuing to put out things that people want to buy and collect, then I guess it's more of the same.
Nice. Perfect. So I think that we
got a great insight.
Yeah.
And we had a great chat. For the future, we always try to think and speculate on what's gonna happen, but we just gonna wait and see and keep the hobby alive and the community thriving for some more years to see where it will take us. And I'm sure the people in our group in Italy are gonna enjoy rewatching the interview that maybe have not been able to follow now. We're gonna help them if they need with the translation, because there were a lot of interesting stuff said. And
so, Pedro, thank you for joining us. It was a big pleasure for us. And so we hope that we'll be able to talk again maybe in the future, in 1 year or 2 years, and we see what's next in the hobby. Thank you
and
again.
Collect a new set signed by him or just illustrated by him, like we have here
the messy
one.
Yeah. Only card I was able to get right now at the moment, but
amazing.
And there's people that are chasing hard.
Yeah, a lot.
And good luck for everything.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep updated on your work because it's wonderful, and compliment again for the great subset in the deco for the artistries.
Thank you.
The whole group. We're saying this from the whole group.
Yeah.
And thank you again.
And as I told you, we are designing our version of an Artistry card, and we'll send it to you when it's finished. Goodbye, Pedro. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Thanks to all the people that follows our live. See you next time, maybe next week. Questo in italiano. Noi ci vediamo settimana prossima con una nuova puntata del podcast. Io sono Arnaldo, lui è Alberto, lui era Pedro. Grazie mille a tutti e buona serata.
Thank you.